Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, see, using a workflow, what we can do is at the record level, we can simply update a record. That means if there is a record in an existing object, or rather there is an existing record in an object, we can simply update that. I mean, some of the fields of that, we can update the values, maybe in the same object on which the workflow is created, or with reference to this, we can also do the cross object field update action. And when we do the cross object field update action, there are a few restrictions as well that using a workflow actually, all right, I can perform the cross object field update action. If I'm using a workflow, then the relationship type must only be the master detail relationship. And the second would be like, you can only update from child to parent. That means you can design a workflow on child object, and then you can update the fields of parent. And what you cannot do is like, if there is a lookup relationship, then you cannot go with the cross object field update action. And of course, you cannot update. You cannot do like you cannot design a workflow on the parent object, and you can make the fields update on the child. That is not possible. So we'll come to that part actually, that needs to be discussed once again when we are doing the field updates, but using a process builder. Right now, let's see one thing which is not possible with the workflow, and that is creation of a record. I cannot create a record with the workflows. All right, I can only update what is already being created. Let me make it more clear. For example, if I go with the candidate object, all right, and as you can see that these many other records inside candidates object. If I'm using a workflow, I could only update any one of them, right? I can, for example, I open this record, and using a workflow, what I can do is like, I can update these fields, all right, but I cannot create a new record inside this object. I cannot create a new record inside any object with the process, with the workflow. But that is what something which is possible with the workflow, with the process builders. So process builder actually allow you to create a new record inside an object as well. Now let's see how exactly we can do that. All right, so configure a process on account object and to create a related contact record inside the contact. Now, once the new account is created with the status is inactive, okay, this is something which I could say that is a condition, and try to understand this. I'm not feeling, I mean, I'm not that much okay, so I cannot put what to say, lots of stress into the teaching, but try to understand this. So the condition is like, whenever a new account would be created with an active status is yes. So whenever a new account would be created with an active status is yes, we simultaneously would also have to create a related contact record to this. Now, what does this mean? Let me first of all try to replicate the requirement. We'll try to first of all manually replicate this. And once we understand this with the manual process, we'll also understand how exactly we could design an automation for that. So the first thing is, this is all about account object, your use case. Let's read it once again. Configure a process on account object to create the related contact record inside the contact object, of course. Once a new account with the active status is yes has been created successfully. So this whole story is about account object. So let me first of all take you to the account. So what is the requirement? Let's try to replicate it manually, and let's understand every aspect of this, and then we're going to design the required automation for that, right? So if somebody go to the account and if we create a new record, all right, let me create a new record with a name called Akash. All right. With few of the details, what I wanted to enter would be like a direct customer with industry as entertainment, with the annual revenue somewhere around like 10 lakhs, with rating as hot, with this phone number, with this fax number, and a website like teslamotors.com. And the ownership would be like public. With all these basic details, and say the active status is yes. It's an active customer, all right. When this record is created, whenever a new account record, whenever a new account record with active status as yes is created like this, we should also create a related contact to it. And you can see it's right now it's no. I mean, there is no related contact. There's no related opportunity and cases, because if it was being created, it has been listed out over here. But right now, as you can see, these three tables, these three related lists, they are blank. But what to do? Let me replicate it manually once again. So whenever an account with active status as yes, whenever an account with active status as yes is created, you automatically have to create one related contact to it. So let me first of all show you. I mean, I go with what I did. I go to related contacts. I click on new contact, and let me create a contact over here. So it would be like first name would be Akash, maybe girlfriend. Don't mind this. Let's keep this healthy. I also wanted to be feel like with all this, with all these details, one related contact is also created. Now, if I go back to this account of Akash, I could see that with Akash, there is one related contact is also created. All right. I could put a phone number, email, and every detail. That is all good. We can do that. But more importantly, what you can see is like, now this is what is required to be done automatically every time. Whenever any new account with active status would be created, we also wanted to create a related contact. And what we can do is like, we can copy a few of the fields over here. Let me do a little customization. So I go with force.com, I go with edit layout. Let me do few of the customizations over here. I'll go with related list. In the related list, in the contacts, I remove title and email. Rather, I bring phone. Phone is already there. Let me bring the fax as well. And let me try to bring the mailing city as well over here. Mailing city, mailing country, all this. I'll bring it right. And let me now press this OK button and quickly save it. All right. So what would be happen is like, now I can see that. I mean, these are the details. All right. Anyways, so you can see that whatever is in account that is being copied. All right. That's a default behavior of Salesforce. We can skip that as well. That's not an issue. Anyways, so this is what needs to be done automatically. The what we did manually should happen automatically. What should happen automatically? Whenever you create an account whose active status is yes, if active status is no, it should not happen. This is the condition. All right. This is what I could say, a rule condition that requires to be get checked every time. Every time whenever you are firing in automation, this has to be get checked. If the account is created and active status is yes, and then only, one related contact should be created automatically, not manually as we did it. All right. So this is what is the use case. This is what is the requirement. Let's start working on to this. So yes, I would be going to set up for this, and I'll go to create inside build, and then workflows and approval. I'll go with process builder. And then, yesterday we created this on contact, which is an inactive status. Yeah, I would like to show you one more thing. I mean, before we go and create a new process builder, See, for example, if you wanted to do any editing into this, for example, the one which you have created in the past, if you wanted to do any editing into that, actually, you cannot do it directly. Guys, listen this very carefully. So many people have asked me this in the group. That sir, we created a process builder in past, and then now I wanted to edit that, but it's not giving me the option. Why? Because see, if you open this, if you wanted to do any editing, see, all these fields becomes read only. Wherever you make a click, you cannot edit that. You cannot edit that. See, you cannot edit that. You cannot edit. Everything becomes read only. So how exactly you could make it? Now, if I wanted to edit this, how could I do that? All right, listen this very carefully, guys. You first of all would require to clone it. All right, you cannot do this in an active process builder. You first of all would require to clone it. All right, I would clone it. When you clone it, there are two options. It would ask you, see, this is right now. If I go with view all process, it's if I like this, this is what version 1, right? This is version 1, which is in an active state. Now when I clone it, it would ask me, what do you want? Do you want to create a new process with the same name? It's not possible. You have to adjust the name. If I click with this, see, these fields become blank. I cannot create a process with the same name, of course, right? But when you go with a new version, so it would going to create a new version, right? If it was version 1, the next version would be version 2. All right. All right. And if I save it, I just wanted like the same name, but a second version. Now this becomes version 2. Here you can edit. See, here you can edit. Now these are right, these are into editable state. All right. These are into editable state. See. So this is how you can edit that. This is how, if you wanted to, edit, you actually would require to first of all clone it and then save it. Once you save it, uh, I don't require this. So once you save it, you also would require to activate that. If you do this, all right, if you do this. One more thing. Now, for example, I told you in yesterday's session that what is the good part of the process builder is like, if this condition is true, whatever you mention over here, right? The contact email ID should not equals to blank. This was my condition. Now, if this condition is true, I'll go with this branch, right? I'll go with this branch. Oh my God. Yeah, I'll go with this branch. But if the condition is false, right, I can evaluate some other conditions as well. So how to do that? Let me try to show you that as well. I can go with add criteria. All right, I can go with add criteria. Let me try to impose some other condition just to show you that. So let's say that contacts phone, contact maybe like business phone should not equals to, does not equals to global constant null. All right, this is my condition. This has nothing to do with the existing process builder. I'm just wanted to show you something. What is happening? Oh, I have to give a name. So check for the phone number. All right, this is what it requires you to give the name, obviously. Now see, I have given two conditions. Based on this condition, I could plan for the elections. Now see, there are two stops. If this condition were true, there are two things. See, understand. One second. And that's the reason, I don't go with like 2 years back. When the pandemic was about to start it, I got an opportunity to get shifted in Europe countries, but I don't prefer that. There were many good reasons for this. One reason was also कि I'm very bad in handling the cold atmosphere. ऐसा है, वो मेरे साथ मनाली वगैरह में भी जाता हूँ तो ऐसा ही हो जाता है. We Nagpurians are good in hot atmosphere. We are hot guys. Right. So see, when you have, I mean, a flow like this, and see, if you if you wanted, for example, if this condition is true, all right, understand, this is very important, and this needs to be get evaluated. And after this action, what do you want? You want it to stop, then click, I mean, then stay with the stop. But let's say I wanted, for example, this condition. If this condition is true, example, all right, if this condition is true, this action has to be executed. And then after, I don't want it to stop. I wanted, I mean, somehow this condition should also be get checked. So I can do one more thing, right? Just click on over here. Just click over here. There are two things. I mean, see, when you do, it's like that, right? All right, let me clear every annotation. So I make a click over here. There are two options now. There are two options now. And this option would only occur, see, if you have a second condition, then only, see, if I make a click over here, nothing happens. See, alert to continue the process, define the next criteria. So you must have something over here. You must have something over here. And then if you make a click, you're going to see that option. Otherwise not, because I'm having a second condition. I make a click. There are two options right now. Stop the process, or what do you want? Evaluate the next criteria. I'll go with the next criteria. And when I save this, see how does it looks like to be. So this is what is something called as checking for the multiple conditions, checking for the multiple conditions. So if this condition were true, it would send an email, and then it would go with the next condition. All right. I wanted all of the conditions to be get evaluated. Let's say, let's say that if, what is this? If the email ID is not blank, then send an email. After sending the email, I don't wanted you to get stop. I wanted you to do something more. So evaluate the next criteria. It would go with the next criteria, and based on next criteria, it would do the actions what you have mentioned over here, maybe, or over here. And if you wanted to do certain more things, then plan for it over here, and then again, and again evaluate the next criteria. All right, this is how we do the chaining. I mean, ये ऐसा करते थे पहले. अभी तो कैसा है कि प्रोसेस बिल्डर में काम नहीं करता मैं ज्यादा. But this is how I used to design the Mekia karta tha. Let me try to show you something. Maybe I have 1 second. Let me stop the recordings. Right. So this is how, you can nest the conditions. You can bring the process. You can bring the multiple conditions to be get checked inside a single process builder. And of course, this is not possible with your workflows. So when you are creating these differences, I mean, you have to create that, by the way. The differences between workflows and process builder, you could highlight this point that in a workflow, you can simply check for only one conditions, right? I mean, if that condition is true, the process builder, the workflow would execute it. If that condition would fail, so your workflow will not going to perform the action. But in the process builder, you at least have, you have this option that if this condition would true, I'll execute this action. Otherwise, we can plan for, if this condition would false, I could even check for some other conditions. And based on some other conditions, we could also perform some other type of actions as well. That is what is possible with your process builder, right? Now let's come to this use case. Configure a process on the account to create related contacts. I'll go with new. Continue in the process. Process name is account process, or I could give a more significant name would be create a related contact for account records. That would be more significant name, right? I'll just delete this. And in the description itself, I could also copy the same thing and see. Every time you have to select a record changes, right? And then save it. Now, let's add the object as to account. I would add, because I'm creating this on account, I'll add the account. And whenever the record is created or whenever the record is updated, created and edited. I'll go with created only, because that is what is mentioned in my use case, right? So now the criteria would be like, see, we are having one thing, active status should be yes, that has to be get checked. So I'll write like, check, check for the active status, all right? So I have one condition, so I'll check for that. All right. You have a formula. You can go with the second. You don't wanted any conditions to be get checked. Go with the third option. See, without giving any condition, you can also plan for the action, which is not possible with the workflow. Workflow must have at least one rule condition. All right. And this is not a compulsion with the process builder. I'll go with this. I need to check for the active status. I'll type AC TI and it get me that field active. That's a pick list menu, right? That should equals to what? See, the options also coming up. So active status should equals to yes or no. I'm selecting yes. So this is my condition that the respective account status, respective account active status should equals to yes. And if this condition were true, let me save it. Now the condition also have been added. So what I want, I wanted immediate or time dependent. No, immediate in the immediate. I'll add action inside action. I'll go with create records. So that is what is not there. And there are so many options over here. You can even call a flow from here. You can even call a flow. That was an option given somewhere around like, I think spring 19 or 20, this option has been included. Before that, it was not an option because before that, there was nothing called as a flow. So there are so many options that have been added very recently. All right. So anyways, I'm going with create a record because I wanted with this account, with an account which an active status is yes. I wanted to create a record inside what contact. So I'll giving a name like create related contact record, right? Create a related contact record. Now, when you go with record type, here you have to mention what you want. I mean, where you wanted to create a record. All right, in the same object. I mean, if I select account, now this becomes same object. Inside the account itself, right? You can create a record. No, but I wanted this record to be get created inside contact. So I will type contact and I would select this. Now, this is a very beautiful part over here. I mean, if you examine it closely, it would give you the name of all of those I mean objects, all of those objects, right? All of those objects that are having a relationship with account, all of them are being listed out over here. See, all are the objects that are having a relationship with the account. All right, these all are the objects that are having a relationship with the account. They are being listed out over here. So where you wanted to create this record? I wanted to create this inside contact. So I am selecting contact from here. Right, I'm selecting contact from here. Now, as soon as you select this object, see the last name field appears over here. That means, see, even though if you go manually into contact, right, and you create a new record manually, see the last name is that field which is mandatory. Field. I mean, I cannot create a record without giving last name inside contact. And that is the reason, even if you're trying to do it with the automation, see, last name, you must give the value, star, this, ye wala star. This would indicate me this field is mandatory. So if I wanted to create a record inside contact, this field must have a value, right? This field must have a value. And this is accordingly, I mean, this is accordingly object. If you go with asset, see, asset name would appear over here. Inside the object called asset name is something which is a mandatory field. If I go with an object called campaign, name is mandatory. All right. So this is how it actually works. Let me go back to contact. So last name. See, if you wanted to give a last name, like every time if you wanted to give a last name, I mean, like this. All right. You wanted to hard code. This would become like, every time whenever a record would be created, whatever record, every time this is going to be the name. I don't want it to this. If it's Akash record, then having an Akash girlfriend is good. But if it's Santosh record, why should Santosh record would going to be have a contract called Akash girlfriend, right? So obviously I don't want it this. If you wanted to hard code a value, go like this. But I merely don't want this. So I'm not selecting in string. I'm not going with this formula. Rather, I'll go with field references. I mean, I wanted to copy the value. So that's why I'm going with the field references. So inside the last name, you know what I want? I wanted the name of account to be there. I mean, if I wanted to do that, right? So the name, account name, I'm selecting account name should be used as the last name. You wanted to add some more rows? Yes, I wanted to do. For example, see over here, we are having the fields of contact. Understand. This is very simple thing. Here you are seeing the fields of contact. Here I would bring the fields of account, right? And let me add like the phone number as well, right? So there's a field called business phone in contact, business phone. They should also get field reference. They should also get the value from account. Let's say account phone number should automatically come over there. There's something, apart from record creation, this is also something called as synchronization. I'll tell you this, whatever. And there's a field called as fax. Inside contact, there is a field called as fax. Business fax rather. And this should get the value field reference. They should get the value from account fax. Account fax. All right. Let me select it. So whenever this record of contact would be getting created automatically, what is going to be happen? The last name would get the value of account name. Business phone would get the value of account phone. Fax phone. If you see this, I'm referring from the field. You could give it like this as well. For example, I mean, if there's a field called as department, you can give a value like computers. I mean, this is what also you manually give it. This is not an issue. I'm just trying to synchronize this with account. Its account name should be get as a last name. Account phone should be get copied to the business phone. Accounts fact should be get copied. Otherwise, I could give it like this as well. All right, this is also allowed. Don't think every time you have to select the field reference. No, it's not like that. All right, and you wanted few more things. Let me mailing cities and all that. Yeah, there's a field called as mailing city inside contact. It should get the value. It should get the value from billing city, from the billing city, right, of the account. Then there is a field called mailing country. Let's say the mailing country should get a value from account billing country, COUNTRY, billing country, and I'm selecting that. Let's say mailing country, mailing city, country, latitude, mailing street, maybe should get the value from account street, right? Business street or something, whatever, billing street, yeah. And as I mean, you can design this is up to you how many fields you wanted to synchronize, or for them you wanted to get the values automatically. That's up to you. I'm good with this one, right? And then let me save this. All right, so immediately the records are going to be get created. Now once you have done with this all, let's activate this. All right, now this has been activated. Let's test it. So I'll go with accounts. I'll create a new contact over there. All right, new account, sorry. Okay, now test process sync number 1, right? And with phone is like 99, or all 9s rather. The fax also I have synchronized, so the fax are all 1s, and this is what autofill has worked. So it has taken all this informations, and with this all information, the most important part is the active status should be yes. Otherwise, your Your process builder would not going to synchronize all this, right? Now with this all, and with the active status is yes. Now if I save it, see, automatically one contact has to be get created. Why it is not created? What is wrong with this? Oh my God. Did I miss something? All right. Account active status should equals to yes. This is yes. Last name, account reference, inside contact. But why it is not working? Why it is not working? Let me try with another one. It has to work. Let me recheck this. Did I make certain mistakes? This one is on to account when a record is created. Okay. Accounts active status should equals to yes. Should be created inside contact. Last name should be account name, phone, fax, billings, and everything. Now, if I save it, if I activate this version, it would create a new version. Fine. It is in the active state. Let's go to the account once again. Let me refresh this. And let's create a new record. So it would be like test account 2. The active status, I'm keeping this as yes. And phone number, I'm taking it 9923188052. Same, I'm copying into fax. Billing street is Nagpur. City is Nagpur. No. Country is Nagpur. Active status is yes. Let me save it once again. I don't know what is happening with this. Ideally, it has to work. I'm not sure why this is happening. Not sure. Let's see, do we have any email from Salesforce? Not yet. I don't know why this is not happening. Here, everything seems to be all good. View all process. This is in active state. What I'm looking. It's an account. Account active status should equals to yes. That is what I did. Active status is yes, and only when the record is created. Okay. Account, business, fax, mailing city, last name of contact. Everything seems to be aligned properly. Why it is not creating? I don't know, really. I don't know why this is not getting created. This has to be work. Let me try to download the logs. All right. Let me see what is What is happening with this? Maybe why it is not working? Do we have time? Yes. Let's do one thing. Let me try to create a flow for this and let's see. Maybe what I'm suspecting is process builders are decommissioned. But that nahi, kal to humne kiya hai na. How come even that is possible? That is not possible. Let me try to do this with flows. So I'm creating a new flow, a record triggered flow. Let me add the object as account. This should be only when the record is created. And I have to check for one condition. That condition is the active status. Active status should equals to yes. If this condition is true only, then this should be get fired. All right. And what I wanted to create a record. So I would be going with create a records, create related contact, one record dot now with related to this, I wanted to create, for example, use a separate resource, right? So it would be like contact. I wanted to create it inside contact. This object. Account ID should get dot ID. It should be related. So I'm selecting this account ID because that needs. Oh yeah, this is what I'm missing. There's no need to go with process builder. Yes. This is what I'm missing. Let me show you. Let me show you. Yes. It was my mistake, not with the process builder. Understood. Let me take you back. Yes. I was not giving, I was not giving that ID. It's always your mistake, not the one with Salesforce. Yeah. Actually, for this account, for both of them, contact is being created. Contact is being created, contact is being created. I'll go with recent one. Contact one, and this has been created, these records. Let me, what was the account? Account test account 2 and test processing. See, these are the names, for this contact has been created. Let me close everything first of all. But the mistake what I committed is something else. See, one contact with the name called test account and test processing, that is created. ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं हुआ, बना. See, this contact, where the name is same, the name of your account, test account 2, and even this contact test processing, as actually it was created. Only problem is this is not related to this account. If you open test account, it would not be related. It's not related. Why it's not related? I committed a mistake. Let me go back to this process builder. I'm cloning this once again, and I'm showing you what is the mistake. I did everything over here, but I forgot to add one thing, which is very important. What is that? See, inside contact, there's a field called account ID. and you have to supply the account records ID over there. You have to supply the account records ID over there. I mean, जब मैं flow में वही कर रहा था अभी. So you have to supply the account records ID, account ID over there, right? I mean, this would make this contact related to the account, otherwise not. आपने देखा कि like account create जैसे ही हुआ, जैसे एक account create हुआ जिसका नाम है test account 2. For this test account 2, one contact was also getting created. Test account 2, phone number, सब कुछ as it is in नागपुर देखो. ऐसा नहीं है कि कॉन्टैक्ट क्रिएट नहीं हुआ था. प्रॉब्लम अकाउंट और कॉन्टैक्ट के बीच में रिलेशनशिप क्रिएट नहीं हुई. कॉन्टैक्ट क्रिएट हुआ बट दैट वाज नॉट अ रिलेटेड कॉन्टैक्ट. नाउ टू मेक इट रिलेटेड account ID of contact must have the respective account ID. वो ट्रांसफर होना चाहिए. with this only if you forgot to do this, जैसे मैंने किया अभी, तो कॉन्टैक्ट क्रिएट तो होगा बट देयर वुड बी नो रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन दीज टू रिकॉर्ड्स. टू मेक इट रिलेटेड ये स्टेप इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप. ठीक है, तो फ्लो में वही मुझे याद आ गया, तो फिर फ्लो में मैं सबसे पहले वही कर रहा था. राइट, एनीवेज चलो अभी नाउ आई सप्लाई दिस अकाउंट आईडी एंड लेट मी नाउ activate this and let's see what happened now. All right, so I'll go with account once again because मैंने created पे लगाया है तो मुझे नया रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. This time I'm making this as test account record number, let's say 5, right? What important? Important, it should be in active status. Right, let me now enter the phone numbers as all ones and fax as all 9 with billing state as, let me try to go with this address, London, state of province, United Kingdom, whatever. Active status is yes, name is test account record number 5. Now if you save this, see what would happen for this account. Active status is yes. अब क्या हो गया भाई? अरे यहाँ कंडीशन ही नहीं आई है. Why it is not there? मैंने सेव नहीं किया आई थिंक. चलो पता नहीं क्यों यहाँ कंडीशन ही नहीं आई. एनीवेज फिर से करूंगा मैं. जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक हम करेंगे. डोंट वरी, and we'll bring it out. Account ID, let me choose it and then I'll have to save it. मैंने सेव ही नहीं किया ना. If I don't save it, how come this is possible? अभी दिख रहा है. And now let me activate this version. ठीक है. Let's go back. Let me create one more record, new, and I'll make it like account test record, let's say number 10. Mandatory condition is what? Active status should equals to yes. Phone number, I'm copying everything from this, fax number, all right. And let me now save it. So this was what we missed, right? If you don't supply accounts ID into contact, then it would not going to create a related contact record. Otherwise contacts तो बनेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है. अभी जो मैंने इसके पहले मिस्टेक किया उसके लिए भी एक कॉन्टैक्ट रिकॉर्ड बन गया होगा यहाँ पे. सी टेस्ट अकाउंट रिकॉर्ड नंबर 5, इसके लिए कॉन्टैक्ट तो बन गया है but it doesn't have any name of account over here. You see, it's not related to any account. All right, so if you wanted this to be get related, the most important thing is inside the account ID field of contact, it should have the respective account records ID. That is what you have to supply. Otherwise contact create to hoga, it would not be related to account. But I wanted this a related contact to be get created. That should be listed out over here in the related list section में. यहाँ दिखना चाहिए आपको यहाँ पे, Now, this was one example. What I wanted you to do, I mean, a similar kind of example. You can try with account as well, no problem. This I tried this with account to the contact. You first of all try with this, the same flow, the same process builder. Sorry. And within the same, within the same, I also wanted you to create related opportunities and related cases as well. Try to first of all implement it in a simple way, and then add the fields over here if it is possible, or you can add some conditions around here, and then you can create a record. Or if you want it, I mean, you can do it like this as well. It's not कि आपको अलग conditions add करनी है. If you wanted to create a related opportunities, you can simply add the actions over here as well. आप इसी में फिर से कर सकते हो, ठीक है? I mean, inside over here, जैसे मैं बोलूं कि name would be like created, related, for example, opportunities, है ना? And then you can type, you can find opportunities from here, and you can create the opportunities records as well. Now that is what is also possible. All right. In the opportunity, these three fields are mandatory. It must have the values. So I wanted you to first try in a simple way, just create related contact. And after, once you are succeeded into this, within the same flow, within the same process builder, don't go and try with something else. I told you how to do that. Just add action, add one more action inside the immediate, right? And then try to create related opportunities, then add action and try to create related cases as well, right? Go with this by today. That's all. Let me give it this command. Now you can unmute yourself if you wanted to ask anything. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions? All right, then. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.